y'all. So I wanted to make this video in hopes of speaking to someone, encouraging someone, sharing my testimony of a recent fast. It's pretty short with the video, so I can't go as in-depth as I would like to. But if you have any questions, I'm always open to diving deeper and hearing different perspectives. Fast was intentional, very intentional. In this time, I was really seeking clarity from God. I really just wanted to get in tune with Him and even with myself. Throughout these 3 days, I gave up food, social media, much anything and everything that I thought was too loud or too blinding that I couldn't hear or see God. So as always, day one goes pretty well. What I really want to narrow in on and what I journaled on was day number 2, because they got real. Day 2 reads, I began to start to feel the weight of the hunger. I also began to feel physically tired. Didn't really miss social media. I actually felt so much better being off of it. I could hear my own thoughts and really had time to sit with myself and with God. I did begin to question my fast, and I did begin to question God. I questioned God as to why He put me in certain situations or allowed certain things. I cried out, literally. And God answered. Day 3 reads, there were moments where I got upset and angry with myself because it became hard to live up to my word and to my promise. There were many times when my own flesh tempted me, just give in, just once, God will understand. Literally tossing and turning, telling myself that the temptation wasn't worth losing the reward that God had for me in the end. Because I have found forgiveness and grace for myself. I began to let go of certain desires and wants and accepted that God knows what He's doing, especially when it comes to protecting me from myself and from others. Where I once cried out, God comforted and heard me and answered me. But most importantly, I truly learned that coming to God is not about perfection. Because I could do everything right in this fast, but if my heart is not in the right posture, it is all in vain. And it was through battling with my flesh, literally tossing and turning, trying not to give in, that I was finally able to see just how brutal the spiritual war is. I think before I would just think that God would just snap a finger and evil was gone, but He really gave me a visual, literal battle that has to be fought. And if you're not equipped with the full armor of God, you will lose every time. I wanted to share this story to kind of paint a picture of sin and temptation. So on my 3rd and final day, I did get invited out to a restaurant with some friends. I said, okay, I was to go, but I wasn't going to eat solid food. And they were very encouraging. So they asked me, okay, so when are you going to start eating again? And I was like, oh, tonight at midnight, give me a steak. All the way up into 12, I was thinking about that steak. And I'm like, ooh, that steak gonna be so juicy. It's gonna be so good. I'm thinking about it. Finally strikes 12, and I go in for that bite. And I'm like, that's it? I'm not gonna say maybe the steak wasn't cooked well. It was cooked well. It's cooked just how I like it. But it just reminded me how temptation and sin paints this picture in your head. Waiting, ooh, it's gonna be so good. When you finally get it, yeah, it might be good in the moment, but how long does that moment last compared to eternity with God? Like, even if the steak was good and I liked it, it wasn't gonna last for forever, like the word of God will, like my relationship with Him will. That's how I kind of just grabbed concept of what sin was really like. And as I was fasting, it does get hard, and you do need to encourage and uplift yourself. So I had wrote this quote to myself, and I said, your fasting serves purpose. It's not about you, so don't be afraid to die of self. There's a much bigger war going on that needs to be won. There are souls at stake. The souls of the people that you are fasting for. They need the intercession. Get up, because giving in will only cost you too much. Okay, so just some key pointers to close out with. 1, you don't have to be perfect to come to God. He's not looking for perfection. He's just looking for a willing heart and an open heart to receiving Him. 2, stay equipped with the full armor of God, because temptation is going to come, and it's going to come, and it's going to fight hard. 3, don't be afraid to be set apart. So don't be worried about who's walking with you or who walked away, because God is walking with you. And that's all that matters in the end. And 4, don't be afraid to fast. Don't be afraid to tune out the world. And I mean literally tune it out. Your fast doesn't have to look like mine. Yours could be music, it could be something else. Whatever is too loud in your life right now, that's taking too much of your time and your attention, that you can replace with spending time with God, with getting to know God more. Because I'm telling you, the more you sit with God, the more you're going to sit with yourself. And the more you sit with yourself, the more you're going to start to reprogram your mind. You're going to really be able to be in tune with who you are and who you're meant to be. If you're frustrated with God, please bring it all to Him. I cannot stress y'all enough how many times I've been angry and I just let it out. And I'm not saying go and be disrespectful to God, but talk to Him like you're venting to a therapist. Let Him know the questions that you have for Him. Let Him know what you're upset about. Let Him know what made you mad, what made you sad. Because y'all, He already knows. but he's not going to intrude upon you to make you come to him. He's just there with open arms, like, I'm ready for you when you're ready. So he's going to give you your time. He's already there. He's waiting for you to meet him.